Alright, timestamp. January 26, 2026. It is 10:30 p.m. Got back from the hospital about 7 o'clock. A lot later than we thought it was going to be. PICS is okay. They had to remove 3 out of 4 of the parathyroids, which, it's funny, the doctor was like, she came in and briefed me after the surgery. I'm in the waiting room. I was in the waiting room for like 7 hours, 6 hours, something like that. It's pre-op and all that kind of stuff. Just kind of, man, I had a coloring book and my action figures, so I was okay. Mom can leave me unattended. I'm okay. Getting on that, I had my phone. I discovered my earbuds weren't working correctly, which that was kind of a bummer. But I had a couple of books with me, and for trivia's sake, I didn't even touch the one. I took the Martian Chronicles with me. I've been wanting to reread that. I read it when I was a teenager, and I loved Bradbury. I wanted to reread that. And I found a book here, because if you've seen the earlier videos, books at Leonardo Station, we got them. My mom, no exaggeration, there's like 2,000 probably books that are cookbooks or food-related books. My hand to God, they juggle geese. I mean, seriously. Goslings, baby. Anyway. Easily 2,000. Terrifying. But there's a few that we're probably going to keep that we looked at that were like, this is interesting, this is interesting. Like me, I'm a carnivore, so there's quite a few like old school specialty how to cook meat books that I'm going to keep, because I always like learning about, the old ways. Some cookbooks from like the 1940s, 1950s, Cool. We're going to be selling a lot of cookbooks on eBay, I think. Dear God in heaven. But one book, and it is a, I don't know what printing, from 1971 Bantam. If you remember Bantam Publishing, I know them best because they were the ones that published Choose Your Own Adventure books. So Bantam and me, we go way back. But I don't even know if they're still in operation or not. They got the red rooster as the logo on the spine. Anyway, that's just, Gen X trivia there. But it's called Honey and Your Health or something like that. And the book was originally published in 1938. Now, I am a honey fanatic. I love honey in things. So this little paperback, little ones, 300 pages, whatnot. But typical 70s paperback look. If you know, you know. But it jumped out at me, kind of that whole, an entire book dedicated to honey. I know, it may sound goofy, but I was reading that mostly in the waiting room when I wasn't looking at the clock and going, I should have heard something by now, But just in the first couple chapters, and they're talking about honey historically as a form of money, and some of the myths and legends about honey, and the proposed myth, or is it, about honey and longevity. There's some interesting stuff. But yeah, I love old books because you still get some BS here and there, because sometimes, authors get paid by the word, so they get a little weird. They start talking about, aliens and things like that. Another subject for another day. My mother-in-law. Don't even get me started. Dear God, what are we doing? Yes, exactly. But this is Sometimes with stuff in the 30s and 40s, some of the science might be a little skeptical just because we do science in the 30s and 40s, but we're not like where we are now. Um, but you get a lot of, I'm talking about honey, unfiltered stuff that hasn't been spun nearly as much as, like modern politics, man. They're dipping into everything as far as spinning the data. Um, but yeah, no, I'm just reading about honey being, used as a monetary unit in a lot of places, and how it was a pinnacle part of like wedding ceremonies and things like that in ancient Greece and Rome, and just really interesting. Um, but yeah, she came out, the doctor, and said, 3 of the 4 were inflamed. We removed them, but she's going to be okay. I'm like, okay, well, let me ask you, if something happens with the 4th one, can she survive without, 1? Can she survive if all 4 are taken out? And she's like, well, no, but it's not that serious. I'm like, if she needs at least 1 to survive, it sounds serious. If something goes wrong with that one. And she's like, well, it looks fine. It looks healthy. All of her balances came back pretty good after we got the other 3 out. I'm like, okay. I'm just a little concerned because I know you can live with 1 kidney. You start with 2. If you lose 1, you can still survive. But you better not lose that one. And she's like, well, that's not the same thing. I'm like, but isn't it? She's like, well, God, well, she's going to be fine. I'm like, oh, okay. Don't tell me that she needs them. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, she has 1 out of 4 that she started with. It has me nervous, You start out with 1 out of the 1 heart. It can be replaced mechanically-ish, transplants-ish, because we're not really there yet science-wise. I think we'll get there, which is pretty cool. Growing up watching Star Trek and all that, it's like, we're starting to figure some stuff out, but we still got a long way to go. But she is home, which is to say she's here at Leonardo Station. She is on the couch watching a couple of YouTube channels that do miniature dollhouse set design and dollhouse building and stuff like that. Actually, she's asleep. She fell asleep with it on. I'm not sure how I'm sleeping because she's taken over my couch. Yeah, that's the dangerous thing. You let him drop off a toothbrush and a t-shirt, and suddenly you start losing your space, We finally did get home. I drove home because she's not supposed to do any of that for 48 hours because of the medication. And I'm a good driver, but I don't do night driving that well. The darkness and then headlights hitting me causes a real blindness for me, which makes it real entertaining when it's a busy street with cars in an opposite lane heading towards us with brights on. So coming home, obviously we made it home okay, but I did not enjoy the trip. Full disclosure, didn't like it. I don't drive at night if I can avoid it. Past 10, 20 years, my eyes have just said, no, you shouldn't do that. If there's nobody on the road, okay. If it's, 7 o'clock driving through Hillsborough County, oh boy. There be cars there. And of course, Hillsborough County, half the people are running with their brights on because it's cool. Some nice halogens, good stuff. I thought Sammy was about to come in here. Sammy has discovered that rolling around in the mud outside is fun. He's a different color than when he arrived. See, when he gets walked at George, he gets walked on a leash. There's a sidewalk and all that, grass. He hasn't been able to, roll around in the mud since he was a puppy, and he's living his best life currently. He's doing a Pigpen from Charlie Brown impression. So got home, we had gotten pudding for my girl, because she's got a big old scar. I mean, it'll heal up a little bit, but she's still gonna, look like she saw some action in Cairo or something. We joke about scars like that. This happened in Da Nang, that kind of stuff. We're not well, we know that. But made some mashed potatoes for her. Got a big old tub of chocolate ice cream out there. I need to stir my soup. That sounds like Sammy's day. So I picked up some. She doesn't like Campbell's chunky soup for some reason. I don't know, weird. But I picked up some of the Aldi chunky brand, soup, and been adding veg to it. I added a can of Swanson chicken, some extra water, because it's not technically the kind of soup that you add water to. It's supposed to be, just the can of soup is the meal, which big can, but that's like 2 bowls. So we're going big here, big-ish. So I added a can of the Swanson chicken, a fair amount more water, and just started chopping up some veg. So that's what we look like so far. Put in some green pepper, some garlic herb, half a red onion, 3 or 4 carrots, some celery. She's not really going to be able to chew with any kind of satisfaction or success for the next day or 2. So this should be a chicken noodle, vegetable, soft, slimy kind of soup that she can just kind of slither down the throat. And considering what I put in there, the nutrients are real, That is the kind of stuff that'll keep a soldier on her feet. That's the idea anyway. Or happily reclined. Yeah, she's... That's scrappy. Had a bunch of packages waiting for me. I wanted to look at these guys. Got in some dollhouse stuff for my girl. It's over here on the Gauntlet machine. Because the Gauntlet machine was having problems with the power. So I'm just going to have to wait until we get an influx of cash. Because I'm not going to do it the second. Because the Zybots, the Blasteroids is fine. The Zybots, they have a very fancy, if you're familiar with Zybots video game, it's a joystick with buttons, but the joystick actually has a swivel feature to it, to where your character can be facing ahead, but when you do that, your character will turn 90 degrees, which is pretty neat. It's an unusual joystick. But the joystick can be problematic. So I need to have it serviced. I knew that was going to happen because I was getting some games, And I'm not upset about it exactly. It was just it was going to be a thing. I wasn't getting new games. I was getting games that were probably going to need a once over by somebody that knows what they're doing, which is not me. So, and that's okay. That's okay. Because, we're headed in that direction. I hate to say it, but then I'll just call the guy. There's a bunch of places locally that have people that will come out, service in-house, have somebody come out and take a look at that, figure out what all's going on with the Gauntlet Multicade. It's going to cost me a few $100, but I'll get, have Blastoids checked out too, Get my games up and running, like factory new. It's kind of what I'm going for. Very cool. And pretty decent. So I'm getting in some Diamond Select figures here and there. I've gotten in a couple of Battlestar Galactica figures. And somebody had a lot of the Holy Trinity. Kirk, Spock, McCoy. Classic uniforms. No gear, but I actually have gear. Because I haven't pulled out yet, but the Playmates Star Trek figures, the phasers and communicators, I think are going to be about right scale-wise. Pretty good likeness. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's not bad. Looks better on the 3/4, doesn't it? Yeah. It's hard to believe, really. Original cast. The only ones still alive, because I think Walter Koenig's still alive. The only ones still alive are Kirk, Sulu, and Chekhov. Everybody else is gone. And this guy died from emphysema. Or at least that was the major thing. Because Spock was a chain smoker. I'd rather not be that casualty, I mean, hey, I've got what Leonard Nimoy had. Yay. And I guess David Lynch, too. Also a smoker. Yeah, the Diamond Select are pretty good. This is interesting. I hadn't actually handled these before. The tunic, the shirt, is kind of a rubber material. It's like a tunic. It stops at the shoulders. It's basically a tunic. But it is rubber, which makes it malleable, fabric-ish. But the Diamond Select are pretty good from a likeness standpoint and a basic articulation standpoint. You can do a lot with them. I looked this up the other day. They are 110 scale, not 112, because they are a little bit taller. They're typically about a 7-inch figure. It's like D-84, who will stay on my desk. Doctor Who is a 5.5-inch figure. So 7-8 inch. Spock should be taller than the others, though, even if it's just by an inch or two. Actually, I'm curious about that. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Because I think Leonard Nimoy is like a couple inches taller than Bill Shatner and DeForest Kelley. But yeah, the guy had the 3 of them for, it's like $35 total, which, oh yeah, I'll do that. And again, I have gear, and just, the figures are kind of the hard part, right? I can get them in package for $30, $40 each. So loose for, like under $40 for all 3. Let's do that. Because they're coming out of the package anyway, because I'm going to play with my toys, damn it. Leonard McCoy. But yeah, I just want to do. I'd done a video before we left. I wanted to do one after. Hex is like having a sneezing fit over there. Normal day. But yeah. Going to be doing a big platter of chicken. I got some leg quarters and drumsticks thawing right now. I think I'm going to do a garlic powder smoked paprika rub. Do something a little bit different. Because I've still got a bunch of cabbage from when I did the cabbage soup. And I'm going to do like a bed of cabbage and then the chicken and then I chopped up some extra veg when I did the soup. I'm going to put that in there too. Kind of do a shake and bake with the garlic and smoked paprika. Bake it up. That'll feed everybody else, and Pix if she's feeling a little bit more adventurous from a like chewing, swallowing standpoint. She does though. She has a scar, kind of, or a stitched wound that goes from like here to here. It looks like somebody like tried to take her out and failed. The rest of the team was there. They took out the would-be assassin. Uganda can be rough. I don't know. A lot of improv, folks. And so many voices in my head. Okay, this is after his promotion. At some point in the original series, Spock goes from a lieutenant commander to a commander. Which... the old school uniforms, 2 solid gold is commander. 1 solid, 1 dash is lieutenant commander. 'Cause I'm a dork that would know those things. Like Scotty is also a lieutenant commander, and at the very, very, very beginning, Spock is a lieutenant commander as well. He's the chief science officer and also the executive officer, first officer. Because yeah, that dork. The tunic's weird on him. They kind of. It's not nearly as smooth as the others, you know? It's like not as form-fitting. Just as a design note. Fascinating. Anyway. I'm drinking coffee, something in between enjoying and drinking it. It's got to be something that Alex concocted. It's okay. I don't know. I wasn't here. Came home to half a pot and went, oh, okay, we'll brave it. It's alright. I'm not sure what he did. He got creative. I just killed it off. I'll make a fresh pot of something non-frightening. I'm going to try and figure out how I can grab a nap. I napped a little bit in the recovery room with Pix. We were there for 6 hours. From like noon to 6 is when they basically said, okay, we watched you for 6 hours, you're good to go, don't drive. I mean, this is the VA, they gave her a big list of do's, don'ts. We got instructed on the next few days what we need to do, what we should expect. The VA is top-notch. It'd be really cool if we continued to fund it. I think that'd be swell. And I think our vets have earned it, you know. I'm a little biased on that, but at the same time, yeah, our vets have earned it. It was part of what they... I know a lot of vets that signed up because they knew that they'd get health care for life that way, which, yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's a good selling point. That's a nice bonus, you know? Don't take that away from them. Do the right thing. Fund it correctly. There's a lot of shenanigans going on there that's kind of got me pissed off. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway. Yeah. Didn't get a lot done around the house today because I wasn't home. But trying to get things on track. We're getting there. No bricks, just trying to get her fixed. That's pretty important too, because, you know, I like her. Pardon. No? Okay. But I heard Sammy coming in the room. I was going to put him on camera. You'll see him eventually. No new gray pit bull sightings. He's out there somewhere. And almost got the tabletops done. At least for the first 3. Then I'm gonna, once I got the tabletops done and sealed, I'm gonna do the base in the dark blue, the, however you pronounce that. I don't even know. The one with like 6 consonants before its first vowel. It's rather strange. I really should know how to pronounce that, I feel. It sounds like Sylvester stammering. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. These guys were an important part of my growing up. If you don't know me, you don't know that. But classic Star Trek, watching reruns every day, even if I'd seen the episode 10, 20 times, didn't matter, man. Important part of my day, and definitely influenced the way I think about people from other cultures and other ways of thinking, doing. Part of what made me, open-minded, tolerant. Be nice if we could all get there. Just saying. Alright. Hug your parents. Hug your kids. Even when they make questionable coffee. Make it a great day.